us if you can tell us a bit about ACHR as a HIC member, how it works, a bit about that history.
Well, ACHR started in 1988, which is about 30 plus years ago. When we want to start a regional platform, and at the time I was participating in the HIC reform. So at the very early stage, we think that it would be good to start a HIC Asia, yeah, and that was the time that we trying to call all the key organizations, which we know from a lot of documents what different groups in Asia have been doing by Father Hoy and Sorina, who travel and meet so many groups under Selawi. Okay, so we call this key group to discuss what should we do together as a regional process. Yeah. At that time, incidentally, there was a lot of serious eviction problem happened because it's the beginning of the urbanization in Asia. Not very beginning, but beginning for some time. Lots of eviction happened here and there. And we think that the problem of housing rights is very, very important. And in the very first meeting, Korea came with a shocking information of big eviction. So we think that we cannot slow any longer. We should start right away. And this is why the name of Asian Coalition for Housing Rights came since 1988. Yeah? To start the process to deal with the housing rights which has happened very, very problematic in a big way in Asia. So we start and then we send a fact-finding mission to Korea. We get a good support from Israel, yeah, and so on. And our first fact-finding mission, very early activity of the ACHR, the process of fact-finding mission to Korea went quite well in the country where they evict the people quite brutally, big scale of redevelopment, and we were able to talk to the government, we were able to make the media issue on the newspaper and so on. And it was one of the contribution of the region community to the Korea eviction, serious Korea eviction process, that later on the government announced the public housing construction, 900,000 units for the people and so on. I don't like much their model, but it's the beginning of a very good joint action from the Asia people to that situation. We still have the second fact-finding mission to Korea. We have another fact-finding mission to Hong Kong. We have another fact-finding mission to Philippines. This is the style of the housing right approach, that we have to do something against what the existing government have been doing. But after 3-4 fact-finding mission, you come to a point that, well, if we just make report and you make a publicity about how bad the system is and so on, leave the power to the government to do whatever, it is not going to solve the problem in the right way. And in our second and third trip to Korea, we already organized what we call the Asian People Dialogue, because we believe that poor people themselves have a lot of things to say. So we bring a lot of community people from Asia countries, and then we bring the community in Korea, and we have what we call Asian People Dialogue. And it's really so exciting. Yeah? We stay in the communities, we have a lot of very exciting sharing. And in that meeting, we had the ACHR meeting, another ACHR meeting, and many people feel that we must continue this kind of effort to allow the people who don't have rights to be an important actor. Support them, creating more space so the people can have more space and become an active change. So what I'm trying is, this is the beginning of what the ACHR is. We link together, we think that we should do something serious in the region and solve the problem, and we have some action, and then we think that that kind of action is not enough. And then we came into a stage of equipping all the group in the region to understand what are the good possibility happen and how we should help together into the country who are in need of assistance. So we draw the expertise and experience from several groups in order to work together in the situation where they need you. Not only Korea, Philippines, then we open up Vietnam, Cambodia. These are all open because of the ACHR group going there and so on. This is the second stage of the development. Until we get the good funding support from DFID, which allow us what we call the training and advisory program. So we identify the whole Asia as a training ground. Yeah? And what are the good things that the different groups have been doing? We organize workshops and we bring all the different groups to exchange, to learn and so on. So horizontal exchange and help each other to start up some important process has been the kind of ACHR action since the very, very beginning. Yeah? And so later on, we have the funding support to support the citywide upgrading, and that cover more than 250 cities. This sort of give an idea of scale. Yeah. So these are the activity that over the year, small activity, big activity, country activity, and the activity like community fund, community saving. ACHR has been one of the key agents start up this process in so many countries in the region and so on, and exchange visit and negotiate with the government, creating a process in which the government from one country can come with the people, with their people, as a team to visit the other country. This has been done so extensively, and with the ACHR support, because normally, if you are the UN agency or big development agency, they never support community people. But we think that community learning is very important. And if community learn with the city, with the other development agency, go together as a team with good, better status, we make it the same status, then the relationship between the community and the other would develop properly. So this is also a big thing that we support. Throughout, and we are, I would say, the key agency who support such a learning, city to city, country to country, like that. These are the kind of 30 years in a very short time. The ACHR have a large platform from all these key groups, the action group who believe in the people, believe in the people process, believe in community, believe in the change from participation from the ground, and the city development that have people as a kind of the key actor. And all the group are the very key active group doing their work in their country. It's not sort of professional who sort of meeting from one meeting to the other. No, almost all the group have a groundwork. Dealing with your government, dealing with change in your country, and then we get together as a kind of the second layer to help each other to find a little more resource so they can do more, and by doing more, we try to move the process of learning into different countries. So you learn from this, the other learn from that. So the ACHR itself is like a process of exchange and broadening the learning and the support in all this 30 year plus. So our structure for the ACHR is a little flexible, a little loose. In the 2/3 of the ACHR time, from the beginning until the 90s, 2005, allow that we have good support from ministerial. And we did our process in such a way that we may call the meeting from all these key group every year. And we look around, see what happened in the region, how the system happened here and there, and then we come into a point of developing the activity which is sensitive to the change of the region and the world, whatever. And then with that, we make a proposal to ministerial, and with a good understanding, ministerial always support that until the change in ministerial which means it's not happen like that. This day we have to think of what are the good program and which the funder could be happy about, and then you develop a project, and then we bring the project into a platform and get the regional group to develop a process together. Our structure in some way is a little flexible and loose. So the secretariat has been working with all this group. We secretariat located in Bangkok, but we have extensive contact with this group. However, I would say that over the year, because we emphasize on action, on doing something, make concrete change here, there, whatever. The group which is more close to this ACHR process will be the group with this similar culture. Do something, making change and open up for the grassroots to get together and build their network, federations and so on. Yeah. The ACHR program, for instance, allow the group in each country to start the citywide upgrading, more than 10 cities. Each country would be about 10, that size. So we obsessed with action. Yeah, do something, making change the city, change the people, this and that. Therefore, the other kind of group who are the right base are not, little by little, are not closely associated with that, except the right group who change into the action. So they are still being on the ground. So some of our friends in the region might not be understanding that, what ACHR is doing, including some funding agency, thinking that we are trying to develop the government activity. Why don't you just pressure the government to do the right thing for the people? Actually we do, but you cannot get the right policy from the government who never tried that. So you have to show them what is the right thing look like. Yeah. And then with the confidence of the people, confidence of the other actor in the city, and you collaborate with them, bring them to go with you. Yeah, you can change them. Yeah. So this is another technique, yeah? More proactive. Yeah? And that is the development of the ACHR since 1988 until now. Yeah.
Somsook, it sounds to me that both approaches are so much needed. No, the action-driven, the action-oriented, and the right-based, and as you said, there is no wall between the two. No, yeah. Organizations travel. How do you see the bringing together of those two approaches in the specific context of Asia, and what role can HIC play in facilitating that?
I think, come back to the question of HIC. Actually, ACHR is HIC Asia from the very beginning. And over the year, in the beginning we developed the right approach, as I mentioned, but later on we want more action, we do something and so on. Why HIC is a little stronger on the housing rights, on the right-based approach. So, and HIC has its structure, why the ACHR people feel that we should build our structure. Yeah? Which, to me personally, I think this is no problem, but you always have to coordinate this, and come the day that we think, okay, let's HIC go its way, and HIC still link with some member in the region, and the ACHR develop, but we still become the HIC member. Yeah, but we have our regional constituency. I think it's always good that the group can get together, collaborate, and trying to develop the different expertise and learn from each other. Yeah, I think if you work in this field for some time, collaboration is a good thing to go. Yeah, so HIC itself, in my opinion, at that time I was involved a lot in the HIC restructuring and so on. And my personal feeling is that I think HIC is too important to develop as a kind of a membership base, as we have done in the past, because that is a club structure, and which I said that before. I think that HIC is too important to be a sort of another association or a club as such. I think HIC should be a very important regional coalition, global coalition, linking with all the different regional coalition. And HIC should be more important to influence many important development issues. It's a player at the global level. We're supposed to influence the development of all the key global institutions and the global agenda, yeah, with the voice of the region and the group on the ground. Yeah, we have to play more diverse politics. We should not concentrate on just building some projects, yeah, and do some activities and happy with that, and a few of us just doing that activity. We have to concentrate on a global change and how to facilitate the regional process, country process, issue-based movement, this and that, yeah, and how we would link with the global institution, in which room to open up space for participation or change by the people, or the right kind of idea would be more open. This is the role of HIC. Yeah? HIC should not be too happy with itself, building a few projects, a few programs, and then implement that. I mean, it is similar to the, I don't want to name, but some global institution that we have a very big agenda, sustainable development, climate change, and so on. Everybody very happy to write a proposal and get some funding, and then you stay with your funding or activity, and change could be done up to your mood or your mercy or whatever. No, I think we have to do more than that, and we have enough good idealistic experience, process, organization in all the regions. So we need to build a platform in which many of these key institutions could come together, and to see how this national process, regional process, some issue, whatever, would be strengthened from our collaboration, and good enough to influence the change of the mainstream. And I think we can do that. We have a lot of very good examples how the different things can be overlaid, and you need an alternative development system today. And HIC should believe in our system and our potential as a global organization to help facilitate such a change process on the ground.